Hello and welcome to Eclipse Pro Wrestling. I'm your host with the most, David Scheller, joined by none other than Steven Anderson.
I am so excited to be here tonight, Glendale, Arizona, for Eclipse Pro Wrestling. How are you tonight, Mr. Scheller?
I am excellent, ready to kick off this pre-pay-per-view show.
Absolutely. We are at the eve before our next pay-per-view. All paths have led up to this point. So tonight is going to be one for my say. Very excited.
Indeed. Of course, we kick off the night with none other than Scott Storm vs. Marik Nelson, the Dark Messiah.
It'll be one hell of a way to start off tonight's matchup here. I mean, you know, Scott Storm's been trying to do his thing, and honestly, he's been doing it pretty well. But going up against the likes of Marik Nelson here is going to be quite the challenge as we kick off tonight's action. Wouldn't you agree?
Indeed. Of course, Scott Storm been proving himself week after week. Few tough challenges. And Marik Nelson still got plenty to prove here at Eclipse Pro.
Definitely breeding grounds here for the opportunity for both competitors here, as you said, and completely agree. Scott Storm's been doing his thing every week here at Eclipse Pro Wrestling, and question is can he maintain that momentum as we go into tonight's card here? And everyone also knows, obviously, tomorrow at the same time, we will be having our pay-per-view that's led up to this point. I'm looking back at the calendar now. It feels like it's been forever since the last pay-per-view. But it really hasn't been that long.
Or Scott Storm making his way down to the ring.
Again,
intimidating presence if ever I've seen one.
I completely agree, and you know what? That's the mindset that you want to have coming into tonight. As I was saying, this is really the pre-show, if you will, for Summer Solstice, and there's just so much on the line going into tomorrow, going into that pay-per-view. So I would imagine that that's in the back of everybody's mind right now, whether they're planning to compete or not. You know, I admire a man who takes his time. Not to say anything bad. Very composed individual. Of course, here comes the competition. Also, a man with a lot to prove. I got to tell you, every time I see a competitor with katana blades like that, you have to just wonder, what is a man like that capable of? Both these men, really, as they kind of come down the entry ramp here, kind of the same sort of disposition, very calm, very collected. Like I said earlier, they're composed. Looks like they're both in the right mindset here to compete tonight.
Should be a very interesting matchup. Both of them ready for the fight.
I know I'm looking forward to it. The crowd's on their feet here in Glendale, Arizona. No question about it. It's going to be one hell of a night of action. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We're off to the races here.
Scott Storm hanging to the ground early.
Well, you know, you want to come out guns blazing, and that's, you know, not a bad strategy, but you don't want to come out too quick because you come out too quick and you find that your defense isn't as good, right? I mean, you could end up making a lot of mistakes if you end up going too quickly. Already a pretty decent back and forth between these two. Would expect nothing less from the likes of these two men and their caliber. I mean, both of them are really, once when they're doing their offensive attempts here, are doing a good job staying on top of the other, being very, if you will, sticky.
Indeed. And if I'm having a real close look, they both seem to be targeting the head of their opponent.
You're absolutely right. You know, you caught that, and you're 110% right. All the attacks that we're seeing, these strikes, these blows, are definitely, you know, above the torso. Not a bad. I mean, not a bad strategy. It's just they're obviously both going for that same tactic, and I think it'll pay off when it's just a matter of time. So who's going to slip up? Who's going to provide the opportunity to actually really screw themselves over? Wow.
Oh, powerful spinebuster there. And a 2 count for Scott Storm.
Well executed spinebuster, to say the least. Kind of a surprise, if you will. I mean, I wasn't expecting it.
Ooh, DDT by the Dark Messiah.
Jeez.
Down for the pin.
Again, those head strikes, which, you know, not a bad strategy. I mean, we saw earlier, before that DDT, there were some leg strikes there going back and forth. Also not bad, you know, find an attack surface and go after it over and over again.
Ooh. Dark Messiah going for a choke slam of some variety. Scott Storm able to fight his way out.
Yeah, he was able to kind of turn that around into his favor. Again, that goes back to what I was talking about earlier. If you want to come in aggressive, that's fine, but don't let that aggression affect your ability to be defensive either. Great action so far as we kick off tonight's card here. And now I can't help but notice, because you had mentioned it earlier, but 110% right about those head strikes, and it makes me think it's only a matter of time until somebody really gets cut open here, or we start to see some blood. Surprised that we honestly haven't seen it yet.
Ooh, see a dragon sleeper out of Storm. He's very close to the ropes.
Their opponent not letting them have an opportunity to fight back, and that's what we're seeing here. Great action back and forth between both men. You have to pardon me, I've been drinking a lot of water today. Both men showing a great deal of physical prowess, too. I mean, we're seeing some great suplexes, great maneuvering from both individuals, great execution.
So a very interesting pin combination from Marik.
I think at this point, I mean, not that anyone has to start worrying, but in my opinion, it's been a very balanced match. Storm probably having the ultimate advantage if you were to score this, at least up to now. But not to say Marik's doing a bad job. But, again, Storm is doing what I said earlier. He's doing a great job staying on top and being sticky. Again, very surprised we have not seen any loss of blood here. I think that's a testament just to show how both of these competitors can really take a solid beating.
I think we could have just seen the tide turn here, as now Scott Storm looking for something in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
Dark Messiah unable to follow up on that next DDT.
Look at that replay. My God.
And Scott Storm picks up the win.
And Storm got that win right as he cut him open too. Like I was saying earlier, they were going for headshots that whole match. Great matchup between both men, honestly. It was a good outing. It's just Storm was sticky. Storm was all over him.
Oh, Storm not content on leaving the ring just yet.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's letting the boots in.
Oh, God. Talk about making your impression felt.
Of course, only 24 hours away from facing off with the Sir for the Comet Championship.
Wow. Well, that was definitely sending a message. If I had ever seen one, what a way to kick off tonight's action. Really a good match between Scott Storm and Marik Nelson.
Indeed.
Whereas now,
Of course, now we move on to Cody Rhodes taking on Braun Strowman, as Cody Rhodes looks to get some stretches in before his match with Chris Cruz tomorrow night.
yep, Chris Cruz is scheduled to go up against Cody Rhodes tomorrow, and it begs the question, we're going to see it now in this match. Cody Rhodes going up against Braun Strowman, but this be a very bad situation for Cody potentially, right? I mean, tomorrow's match between him and Chris Cruz is built up to that point. It's a pretty important matchup, so Cody has to be careful here tonight.
Of course, Cody has to dig into everything that makes him, quote-unquote, a giant killer, as he goes up against the behemoth known as Braun Strowman, as well as quite a sizable Chris Cruz.
I was about to say, I was pulling up the stats for Braun Strowman, 6'8", 344 pounds. That's quite a powerhouse when you compare that to Cody Rhodes at 6'1", 220 pounds. I mean, it just begs the question, if Cody, whether Cody pulls off a victory here or not tonight, he is going to be, without question, in my opinion, at severe risk of not being 100% for tomorrow.
The short match favors Cody, at least in my opinion.
If it is short, sure. But, I'm just saying, we don't know what we don't know. I mean, Braun Strowman is like I said, 6'8", 345 pounds. The guy's a brick shithouse. So, not to take anything away from Cody, but Cody needs to be careful here. He needs to be observant. He needs to be anticipative of the move set of the likes of the man Braun Strowman.
Certainly.
Brodal's in the house. What's up, bud? Thanks for joining. It's a friend of mine.
Welcome.
Thanks for joining us here for Eclipse Pro Wrestling. I'm glad to see that your internet connection is working, my friend. That's good. So, oh my God. That was brutal.
You see, Cody Rhodes went for the knee, but was unable to make it stick.
Cody has to be careful here. He cannot underestimate the fact that he's going up against somebody the size of Braun Strowman. That delta between them is too substantial. It's too significant. And the fact that he's bound for a match tomorrow with Chris Cruz, it's just a matter of how much are you willing to put on the line here tonight.
Ooh, Cody Rhodes able to actually get Braun Strowman up off the mat.
Very impressive work by Cody Rhodes there. I mean, definitely a show of great execution, being able to pull that off for a man of his size. Versus both men doing a good series of strikes there, but those suplexes are going to pay off.
Really seems like we have two men possessed here tonight. It's Braun Strowman versus over in the top rope, but no water in the pool.
And you know what? To me, I feel like those high-risk maneuvers are extra high-risk for a guy like Braun Strowman, just because you're built the way that you are. When you're 6'8" and you're 345 pounds, unless you're the likes of somebody like Keith Lee, the great Bam Bam Bigelow, you know, to name a few, right? Those were big men that were very agile competitors. I'll say this, though. As I've watched this match so far, Cody has done a really good job playing that defensive game that I was talking about earlier. If there's anything that happens with this match, he needs to make sure that he's in a position where he can still compete at tomorrow's pay-per-view. I mean, even in his own offensive run here. Uh-oh.
Only getting a 1 count.
You know what, though? Me seeing him do that pin attempt goes back to what you were saying. I think you're absolutely right. Cody's going to try to do everything he can to keep this as short as possible, which is not a bad strategy given the fact that, I mean, he doesn't want to let himself get injured or get hurt for his match tomorrow against Chris Cruz.
Oh! Crossroads!
Wow! That came out of nowhere.
Oh! 2 count. No further.
I thought that was 3-2. I thought that was going to be 3. I mean, he hit it so well. And to the point that we're making it, it's within Cody's best interest to keep this as short and sweet as possible, without risking getting hurt. Oh my God. This is kind of what I was worried about. What the? What's going on? Isn't it no DQ?
Braun Strowman clearly gone from wanting to pin him to wanting to hurt Cody Rhodes.
I was gonna say, and it seemed like he had didn't seem to care whether he was going to potentially get disqualified or not. I'm looking at the card and I'm like, this is not a no disqualification match. You go for that chair, you do something with that chair. I mean, yeah, you do some damage, but Braun is a loose cannon right now. Oh my God.
Oh, now I've got someone else coming to the ring.
What's this? I gotta tell you, that referee got up really quickly.
Cody Rhodes using the music to do a sneak attack.
Use the distraction in your favor.
Oh, here we go. Could be looking for another Crossroads. Oh, Crossroads, middle of the ring.
Great ring positioning.
Referee clearing the chair.
Great execution for that great ring position.
Oh, Cody Rhodes picks up the win.
Well, I'll tell you, that was good. I didn't, use the distraction to your advantage, which he did, textbook. Again, it seemed like for a while there, for a minute, Braun was acting a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, he looked like he was just trying to hurt.
Yeah, all of a sudden he went from, I don't know, it just completely changed mindsets there, going for that chair. Just definitely, I was like, what is he thinking? Did not pay off for him, though. So congratulations to Cody Rhodes, again, keeping it relatively short. Great execution.
Keeping it under the 10-minute mark. I don't know if he'll be able to do that against Chris Cruz, however.
Yeah, it makes me think.
Especially with the...
Do you think he's trying to send a message to Chris Cruz with that match? I mean, I would think so. I mean, Chris Cruz has got to be watching this match. Fruity Pebbles.
Certainly would be saying that he can take on dudes of a larger size.
No question about that after seeing that display of aggression and force by Cody Rhodes.
Of course, now we go to the scarred cage.
That's right.
Scarface taking on the demon Finn Balor.
This is going to be a great match, in my opinion. We're going to be in a steel cage for this one. And it's
very...
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just about to say, probably one of the longest entrances in the Eclipse roster, going up against one of the shortest.
Yeah, that's a true statement. But again, when we're talking about Finn Balor here, we're talking about the demon Finn Balor. So this is going to be one hell of a challenge for Scarface.
Oh
especially.
God, that cage looks like it's in all sorts.
I know.
I know he called it the Scar Cage, but did he just make that himself?
I don't know. I need to get a better look at it because I saw it when he first came out. I need to get a better look at that cage.
Just... Oh no, I was just going to go over the rules.
Go ahead.
Of course. Submission and knockout only, no escape, MMA cage rules, basically.
Right. Which is different, right? Because your typical wrestling cage matches, escape is one of the potential outcomes, right? So there's no escape here, to your point.
As well as pinfall.
Right.
So no pinfall, just submission and knockout.
Right. MMA cage rules.
And now, Scarface done, entering the cage. Now we're going to have the demon Finn Balor make his way down.
The demon Finn Balor, definitely a persona that really transcends the understanding and standard of what a competitor is. Looking forward to seeing him compete in this match with the stipulation. Ends in an armbar. Okay, but you know what? You never know. I mean, knockout or submission are your two choices.
Could be worse. Could end in a knee bar.
Well, a knee bar usually has the potential to do more damage, right? Because you can tear more ligaments in any kind of leg bar than you could with like an arm bar, just because the way.
Oh no, that was more a joke on Goldberg.
Oh. Well, I was just saying because in the knee, right? The knee has so many more joints and cartilage and areas of attack and opportunity. And like that's why moves like geez, I'm trying to get a name now. But any submission hold in the leg is going to do potentially more damage. I mean, I think about, Kurt Angle. I think about Ken Shamrock. I think about those people whose their submission maneuvers were leg holds. They did a lot more damage. Of course, you could make the counter argument with people like who also have experience in MMA, like Ronda Rousey, right, who does armbar. Definitely, you are 110% right, David. What you said earlier, the entrance of Scarface is so much quicker in compare. I mean, I agree. I think Scarface is the quickest entrance. The Demon is an entrance that is quite the spectacle, and I mean that in no disrespect at all, because as a competitor, he's quite the spectacle as well.
Very interestingly, we did not get the spectacle of the entrance last time we saw the Demon, as he launched that pre-match assault, which led to one of the shortest matches in Eclipse history against Scarface, and hence why Scarface has looked for this revenge match.
Yeah, and that's kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier as we kicked off tonight's show card. There's been so much going on in Eclipse Pro Wrestling the last, month or so that has led to this point. All these matches have had great stories behind them. Style steel cage again, so that means there's no pinfall. There is only knockout or submission. No escape.
Oh, Bellis falls up against the steel there.
Yeah, that did not look pretty for the Demon one bit.
Oh, up. Yikes.
Using that, you know what? It's all fair game. Use that cage as a weapon, my friend.
Scarface certainly in familiar territory, earning that scar in MMA.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't blame him. Just be aware of your surroundings, and it looks like that's what he's doing, staying on top of Demon Finn Balor as best as he can, using that cage to his advantage.
Oh, sling blade out of the Demon.
That's the thing, I think, for a guy as quick as Scarface, I mean, Finn Balor, whether he's Finn Balor or whether he's the Demon Finn Balor, I mean, the guy is extremely agile, extremely quick on his head foot, very, very precise, and very good on the execution front. And Scarface is going to have to outpace him to get the W here.
Of course, very interestingly, Finn Balor not known to have a huge amount of submissions in his playbook, at least that we've seen recently.
Well, it begs the question.
Again,
yeah.
No, you go.
I was going to say, it begs the question is how much is that going to play into, into the potential outcome of this match? I mean, I've seen submission-style matches before, in the 25, 35 years that I've watched wrestling, where that doesn't necessarily make a difference, but it is something worth noting.
And then again, a very slight modification. Oh, first submission attempt by the night, and it is the Demon with a knee bar.
Pardon me, I had to go on mute there. I had a cough. Balor needs to be careful. You gotta be careful. You can't let yourself get caught up in the moment. Especially in a match like this. You get caught up in the fanfare.
Jeez, it's just a huge cut away.
I mean, I will tell you that so far in this match, Scarface has definitely been the aggressor, right? Doing a great job at the beginning of this match. We saw Scarface using that steel cage as a weapon. Let him find that attack surface and go after it. Obviously, using that steel cage, going after the head of Balor, that was very significant. But as we see, it's been a good back and forth between the two. I thought we were gonna look like a missed opportunity there by Balor a few minutes ago. And you can see
Scarface getting caught up in the adulation just a little bit.
Yeah, he absolutely is. But you can also see that Balor is, he looks haggard. He looks a little bedazzled right now. I mean, Scarface almost letting him get a breath of air.
Scarface has him right in the middle of the ring. Ripcord knee. Finn Balor not registered as unconscious just yet.
Pardon me. Balor's going to have to find a way to turn the tables in his favor for the long run. And look, it's already not doing too well for him as it's been going so far. I think we just saw him got split open there a few seconds ago. I'm surprised he hasn't yet because he's been face first into that steel cage at least 4 or 5 times now.
No. Throws him up, goes down with him, cutter. The still refusing.
Staying on top of him, being sticky. That's the strategy that's going to get you the W. But again, in this stipulated match, with that MMA style steel cage, you're going to have to either knock out or get a submission here to get that W. Yeah, some showboating here for sure on both sides.
Another ripcord knee. And that is Finn Balor laid out.
Wow. That knee is what did it. That knee is what did. First of all, if you saw that, before he executed that knee strike, there was a good elbow strike that he did. That Scarface landed right on him, and then boom, he goes with that knee, and that was it. That was lights out.
Certainly focusing on the head, was going for that knockout the whole time.
From the beginning of the match. Which is not a bad thing. I mean, look, that's the strategy, right? I mean, use it as a weapon. Use that cage as a weapon, and it paid off.
I have no doubt in my mind that Scarface constructed that cage himself.
Well, regardless of whether that is true or not, a great outing by Scarface. Congratulations for getting the knockout win over Demon Finn Balor here out of Glendale, Arizona.
Indeed. But the night continues as we
Indeed it does.
Into Daniel Cole, the Blackout, takes on Johnny Gargano.
Forward to this match too. You know, I've been calling a lot of matches here, a lot of nights. It's been a pleasure doing that with you, Mr. Scheller, and you know, you can agree with me that, you know, Cole has done a really good job competing within the roster since we really started Eclipse Pro Wrestling. So to watch him go up against Gargano is going to be quite the matchup here tonight.
Should be very interesting. Of course, both of them a fair bit of tag team wrestling experience, but also established singles competitors.
Now, I don't have the stats for Daniel Cole, but I know Gargano, he's a small, I mean, I don't want to say small, that sounds offensive. You know, he's 5'10", 199, 200 pounds, right? I always like to take those statistics into account because I think it plays into the potential of the outcome of the match.
I believe Daniel Cole is 6'1", 250.
There you go. So, not entirely a large delta by any means, but, I mean, again, if you go back to the track record of Daniel Cole in the realm of Eclipse Pro Wrestling, he has gone up against a wide range of different competitors when it comes to size. And he's made quite the name for himself, no question about it.
Of course, going up against Pat Downs tomorrow night, trying to clear his name of the accusations made against him by Pat Downs, accusing him of organising the Silhouettes of Redemption.
I'm looking for some kind of, not restitution, but some closure with regards to that match. You know, for those who do or do not know, Silhouettes of Redemption are definitely not on the card for tomorrow, and it just begs the question is, you know, are they watching? Will they be watching? I'm sure that they will. I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow. Again, for those who don't know, tomorrow is our pay-per-view Summer Solstice, and tonight is that pre-show for that, so be sure to tune in tomorrow.
Of course, on the longest day of the year, we have our longest card to date with 10 matches.
Yep. Yep, and that first match tomorrow is actually a ladder match. With 8 competitors, I want to say.
Correct.
Aussie Rules, Zachary Hex, Chandler Sill, who's been making quite the name for himself. Bjorn Olstrom, Effect Police, Paul Riley, James Reed, and Caiden Cross. That is a list, my friends. That is going to be one hell of a way to open up tomorrow's pay-per-view, Summer Solstice. Summer Solstice, excuse me. Also, every title will be on the line tomorrow. The tag team or the Equinox Championship. The Lunar Gemini Championship, which is the women's tag, the Comet Championship versus the Surge, Scott Storm, the Solar Championship with Tommaso Omega and the Wrecker, the Orion's Belt Champions, the Four versus the Dragons, and then the Lunar Championship, Lady Hawk versus Glowing Gloria. We have a hell of a card tomorrow, and that's not even all the matches. It's just a big card.
Of course, the main event is a 60-minute War of Attrition match.
That's right. That's right. A lot of people would call it an Iron Man match, but it's not really an Iron Man match by definition.
Well, the reason that we have not called it an Iron Man match is because there is no disqualification and falls count anywhere.
Right. That's what I mean. It's not your traditional Iron Man match. Your traditional Iron Man match is 60 minutes. Sometimes I've seen Iron Man matches for 30 minutes, but a real one is 60 minutes, and it's usually best out of so many falls, right?
I mean, best whoever amounts the most falls, yes.
Right. In that 16-minute time period. I mean, there's different variations, right? But ultimately, that's what I've come across. This has been a great match so far already with Daniel Cole and Johnny Gargano going tit for tat. Johnny Gargano looks like he just came back from the beach. Is it just me, or does he have a tan?
He seems quite tan, but then again, the blackout is quite pale.
That could be what I'm seeing. It could just be the contrast. That was a pretty impressive series of strikes by Cole, and even more impressive was the way Gargano got up so quickly, but it did not pay off for Gargano in the long run.
Oh, what a cutter by Gargano there.
That speed and agility of Gargano is paying off so far in this match for him. Again, Gargano
Ooh.
doing a good job staying on top where he can, but Cole doing also a good job of finding that ability to reverse the tables in his favor, at least for now. Yeah, Gargano looks a little dead to me.
Into the ring. Ooh, the rising knee on the outside.
You know, after seeing that knee in that last match by Scarface, you gotta have respect for how dangerous that maneuver can be. Great execution here by both parties so far in this matchup. It's really, like I said, it's really been a good back and forth.
Oh, 2 count there for Gargano. The fold over the top rope by Daniel Cole.
That was brutal. I mean, that really had an effect on Gargano there for a minute.
Ooh, rocket kick layers Gargano out as soon as they get back in the ring.
Great time to do that as well.
Rhodes.
Oh, God.
Jesus. Daniel Cole paying homage to everyone that's been in the ring tonight.
I'm surprised. I was going to say that I thought he was going to go for the pin right away.
And you're getting a 1 count there.
Good execution, though. Stay on top, stay focused. But both men are doing really good with the reverses.
Dragging him into the ring. Setting up for the Gargano escape.
Uh-oh. Oh, God. Here we go.
Daniel Cole, normally the one tapping people out. Could he tap? Here. Daniel Cole seems to slip out with a knee strike to the back of the head.
Again, that knee strike is serving its purpose.
Ooh. Daniel Cole with some very slippery hitting combinations. Very inventive.
Yeah, very, very great on the execution of these suplexes by both men. Again, this has been probably the most back and forth match of the night so far. I mean, really, this has been a great showcase by both competitors.
Oh, spear by Daniel Cole. That's something we usually see out of the man.
I was going to say, to your point earlier.
Oh, shooting star press.
Wow.
The top rope.
Wow.
Just getting the kick out.
I not believe that was not it. I thought that was it. I was going to say, he's been paying homage to all these maneuvers. I thought that was it. I swear I thought that was it. Wow. Great series of lariats there. Yeah, Gargano trying to play a little mind game here. Wow. Trying to get...
no.
Uh-oh.
Blackout. In the guillotine.
My God.
In the blackout.
This could be it. That's it.
And
That's
he
all she wrote.
taps.
I'm telling you, that maneuver, that submission maneuver, it uses gravity and your weight against you. Smartest thing you can do if you find yourself in that maneuver is to tap out.
Yes. Cole Abel was actually struggling a little bit to get to his feet at the end of that match.
Well, it was a great match.
Taking a lot.
I mean, it was
a lot out of him.
Very back and forth match between both competitors. I mean, like I said, it's a great showcase of what each of them are able to do, but good for Cole for being able to pull off the great series of maneuvers that he pulled off as well.
Indeed, very impressed by both men in that match. So far, match of the night, I'd have to say.
I agree.
We've still got a few matches to go. Could be trumped here. Of course, Caiden Cross takes on Luke Gallows.
I think this will definitely be an interesting match.
Indeed. Two very big men. Caiden Cross not really finding the success he would expect here in Eclipse Pro just yet. Perhaps a trip to the doctor's office could deliver him some answers.
Do you have the stats on Caiden? I mean, the height weight stats?
Oh, he would have to be somewhere in the range of 6'4", 6'5", and 270 maybe?
Okay, because I know Gallows, that's about it. Gallows is what, 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", 290. So we got ourselves a pretty even match here.
Indeed.
You know, it's not very, I mean, a lot of times you call it a match with Luke Gallows, and one of the things you always talk about is how Gallows has a size advantage, and not particularly the case in this match.
Very much falls into that bad luck Fale school of thought.
Yes. Well said. Caiden looking confident, looking like he's in the right state of mind here. Good for him.
I don't even know if I was about to say the complete opposite. I just see a bit of unease in the eyes.
Really? You see? Okay.
I'm not sure where his head's at.
I mean, it's funny because, like, that, honestly, I think that's subjective. I mean, to me, I think, I'm not saying that you didn't see what you saw, but I'm just saying that to me, maybe I just didn't catch that. I mean, obviously, we'll see through action.
Okay, my fellow commentator here is saying that I'm reaching. Let me know if I'm reaching in the comments.
Oh, I don't think you're reaching. No.
I feel like you're saying I'm reaching.
That's funny. That's very funny. You're a funny guy, dude.
Yeah, I try. I'm getting a bit old for this. But, of course now, Doc Gallows making his way down the ring, as Haas would say.
Yep. Haas. Good man, Haas is.
Pain in my ass. But, of course, I believe most members of Bullet Club have become honorary Texans under Haas's watch.
I could see that.
So,
I tell you, there needs to be a constant cam on that guy because I just feel like he's always getting into some shenanigans.
Yeah, you can see just a little bit of height difference there.
And you see it with those strikes back and forth there as they kick off the match, because you see that height differentiation is going to have a little bit of reach advantage, right? A little bit of longer arms, a little bit of longer legs. But based on what you're telling me, I mean, you can see the difference. That's clear. But Caiden is doing a good job, with the bigger they are, harder they fall ideology. That was a close call just in that last pinfall.
I don't know what Caiden's doing.
What is he doing right now? What is... Has he lost his mind? What is he doing? A little bit of mind games here. Kind of a game of cat and mouse. Even still, I'm a little confused. I mean, why is he being so... I mean, okay, he's got a little bit of a strategy here, but I'm having a hard time piecing it together.
I have no idea what he's doing.
He's sort of doing this follow me and I'll try and trap you kind of thing, and it paid off for a little bit there on the outside, but I'm a little confused, to be honest with you. I don't understand why he's taking his time.
It's almost like his mid-thought.
I don't know, but it's confusing. It's like, what are you thinking? What is the method to your madness here? Like, obviously we're seeing him doing some great maneuvering, but he is... he's not staying consistent. It's like he's not focused. I don't understand what he's doing. Why is he letting Gallows get to his feet? I mean, he's just... Wow. I mean, if nothing else, this strategy, while very unorthodox, is paying off.
Ooh.
God.
Looks right into the choke slam.
Trying to figure out what he is thinking here. I mean, it's working.
1, 2. Are we about to see the trifecta of the Cross Raider? 1,
There are
2,
times it's hard.
3.
That was a very interesting match, wouldn't you say, David? I mean, Caiden did a great job, but I don't understand where his mind was during that match.
Like, at all.
He seemed a little disconnected. I don't understand why.
He's not leaving, he's laying the boots in now.
Well, this just has... I don't know. I don't understand what his mindset is. I would love to get some kind of interview or hear what he's thinking there. I don't know. That just seemed a little out of tune for your typical Caiden Cross.
It almost seemed like he was disappointed. I'm not sure what he was disappointed by. But now we have the New Age BrainBusters facing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
It's going to be a good matchup. Great tag team action. Something that Eclipse Pro Wrestling in the past has done a good job of showcasing their tag team division. My favorite style of wrestling. I mean, love tag team wrestling. And surprisingly, we've had a great night of action. This is our only tag team match.
Well, so now we head to the ring.
Let's light this candle, ladies and gentlemen.
So we're straight to the action, it seems. Game automatically... I don't know what happened there.
Well, they came out together.
Yeah, at least...
That's something we've been focusing on the last couple of weeks, is when competitors in a tag team scenario don't enter the ring in unison. It's just, it's not necessarily a make or break, but it is something that's worth noting.
Well, Seth Watson of the New Age BrainBusters now in.
And that's a smart tag team maneuvering there. I mean, very much those, I always like to try to keep track of the amount of tagged in a match, in a tag team match, because that's important. Bringing in that new blood to the opponent, that's...
And Sami Zayn yet to tag out, of course, only early goings of this match.
Great maneuvering there, but too soon, too little too soon, in my opinion. Another tag there by New Age BrainBusters. And why not? Third tag.
Seemingly just playing with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens here.
4 tags now. Well, of course, that other tag didn't really... There's no action in between there, but again, I agree. I think they're just sort of playing games here, but nothing wrong with it. Wow, some of these maneuvers are just very, very well done. KO trying to come in with that brute force, as we saw just a few seconds ago, and it just did not pay off at all.
Oh, blue thunderbomb from Stalker. Oh, only getting a 2 count.
Great timing and execution, though, and the ring position was very well placed. Sami Zayn, at the time of that, was on the outside.
Stalker and Seth Watson tagging a fair bit over in the 2K community, building quite a reputation for themselves.
Absolutely, couldn't agree with you more. I think that their tandem showing so far is a testament to that. They work well as a tag team, no question about it. Very in sync, very precise and coordinated with their attacks. Wow.
Ooh, Seth going for the double taps on Sami, but unable to pay off. We'll focus back on Kevin Owens.
Yeah, Kevin Owens has not had great luck in this match so far. A lot of swing and misses. Again, Owens' style of wrestling, while a great style of wrestling indeed, the man's very capable and competitive, has not been able to keep up to pace with the likes of the New Age BrainBusters at all in this match.
Seth went for something but couldn't find the distance.
I don't see a little bit of offense there, but unable to sustain it. You can see, I mean, Zayn is just bursting with ambition and tenacity to try to get back into the match.
Is that powerful swing STO? Ooh, probably getting a 2 kill.
And you know what? Very smart to maneuver or to drag KO in the middle of the ring. Zayn was on the outside again. Second time there was a pin attempt. Great ring position by the New Age Brainbusters, and Zayn was MIA, and it just wasn't enough to keep count. Great tag team action. You got to be careful. KO's going to have to really be careful here because, for whatever, you know, Zayn has not been a great tag partner, unfortunately, in my opinion. He's spent a lot of time on the outside. While it's great to be ambitious to be tagged in, Brainbusters has done a good job neutralizing him as a threat.
Awesome. Seemed like they were trying to do some tandem offense there, but Kevin Owens was able to throw up the forearm. But it doesn't matter as Stalker is able to get it done.
Great outing by the New Age Brainbusters. I mean, it was unfortunate because, again, Zayn and KO just were not on the same page at all. Admire Zayn's ambition, but not enough. Testament to how important those coordinated attacks are in tag team wrestling. The New Age Brainbusters pulled it off.
Indeed, of course, the early start, working together. A bit of playful banter at the start as well. Set the tone for this match.
I see a lot of potential with New Age Brainbusters. If they keep competing like that, forget about it. It's going to be interesting to see the future of that tag team.
Indeed. Of course, we'll probably see them in full force in their next match. So, look out for that.
And we're coming up for tonight's main event. Again, want to thank everybody for tuning in to our Summer Solstice pre-show. Esselmania going up against Minoru Suzuki.
Indeed. What should be a very interesting match.
Esselmania, of course, in tomorrow's main event, going up against David Wise for the Eclipse Championship.
True. Facing off with the King of Cruelty tonight. Back-to-back main events.
Yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle, but you know, Esselmania's earned the opportunity, so let's see what he's capable of. Again, big thing for me is you know what you got at the horizon, you know what you got tomorrow, so you know that's going to be in the back of his mind, and you just know that David Wise has got to be watching this match.
Indeed. I think there's also a fair bit to prove for WrestleMania here tonight. Just from the perspective of a bit of controversy surrounding that submission match ending in a pinfall, but
That's right.
maybe he'll look to tap out his opponent here tonight. Make sure just to prove that he's still got that submission tactics in mind.
Well, I got to
Proof in
tell
the
you,
pudding, as it were.
I have seen Esselmania grow, and I don't mean that, I don't mean that offensively. I mean that with all due respect. he has really done a great job working his way up the roster through the competition over the last several months.
Indeed. Wasn't someone that was initially pegged as a world title challenger, but has earned his way and earned the eye.
So that's exactly the point. Actions speak louder than words, and his actions have definitely defined him to be in the position that he is, and more power to him for doing that. Question is will tonight's performance be a hinder, or will it be an omen to what we could see tomorrow? Who knows, right? Time will tell.
Omen's not traditionally a thing I like to associate when Minoru Suzuki is walking out to the ring. Definitely not a good omen at the best of times. This match about to get underway.
Glendale, Arizona. Here we go. Like the aggressor is Esselmania.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's just me, but this could be another comparison here, but Esselmania looks like he's gotten a little bit stronger too. Although maybe it's just the comparison of his opponent. Definitely has that size advantage, that muscle mass advantage.
Not very often that someone be able to just throw around Suzuki like that, and here we go, Suzuki's finally kicking off on it.
I was gonna say, when are we gonna see those signs of life there? And you call it straight up.
Not sure what Esselmania's gone for there. Wild throw to the left. Suzuki optimizes on it.
Yeah, not sure what thinking there was with Esselmania. Definitely, though, great opportunity for Suzuki to kind of come in and capitalize on it. Pardon me. A lot of great reversals tonight in mostly all the matches. A lot of great back and forths tonight. Been a great card. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, whether you're watching live or watching a replay.
Oh, the fisherman suplex into the pin. And they're getting a 1 count.
Again, Esselmania doing the good job of the aggressor, staying on top of Suzuki as best as he can. But again, I think it's going to take a little bit more. Some kind of shock, some kind of something to get Suzuki to stay down.
Oh, some form of cloverleaf here. Minoru able to throw him out of it.
I'd say the rig position not ideal, but very effective maneuver nonetheless.
And here we go. Up.
Oh God.
Suzuki kicks out of the powerbomb that ended Zack Sabre Jr.
give credit where credit's due. Suzuki been taking a pretty decent beating to this point, doing a good job reversing where he can, doing an even better job staying alive in this match up to this point.
Esselmania clearly found some new wings since starting the team with FTR forming Old School.
Yeah, it seems like there's some new moves in the repertoire of Esselmania. Staying on top of Suzuki. Against Suzuki, you're gonna have to wear him down and just get him at just the right time.
Oh, that boot.
Wow. Oh my god.
Just devastating, putting him down. Oh no, the figure 4 sharpshooter.
Another submission attempt here.
Suzuki is forced to tap.
Wow, well that was much better ring positioning too.
Of course,
well done by Esselmania.
I don't think anyone has escaped that figure 4 sharpshooter yet.
I haven't seen anybody escape from it yet. It's a very unique take on the figure 4 leg hold. And that ring position was absolutely perfect. There was no way he was going to get out of that. And it's a life-altering submission hold. Or not, a career-altering, I should say. So, you know, smart thing to do, tap out. Because you're going to end up breaking and pulling something if you don't. Great work by Esselmania.
Indeed, of course. That leaves us at the end of our pre-show for Summer Solstice. We will catch everyone tomorrow night for the pay-per-view card. 10 matches, plenty of championship implications. Any last words, Mr. Anderson?
Just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight and looking forward to tomorrow's Summer Solstice pay-per-view. Please tune in because we're going to have a lot of action and a lot of great wrestling. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll catch you next week. Oh, tomorrow and next week. But tomorrow for our pay-per-view. Goodbye and good night.